let's go back to this. The stories, yeah. Oh, I have to load my game, I guess. How do I do that? Hello, no, I want to load. I want to load. System? Load. Oh, there we go. It was this. And, yeah, I hope that I'm able to go until 11 o'clock today. Well, we'll see. Is there a way of scrolling back up? It was only after oblivion that grew so big. Just gotta quickly remember where we ended. And this music is very beautiful. Oh yeah, they were talking about the rose garden, I remember. And they like tied something about around one rose that, what was her name again? Maria really Maria was sad that one rose was kind of withering away. Okay. Oh right, also I wanted to have a look at this stuff. I think it's not a bad idea with a game with many characters and apparently a complex plot to remember who everybody is. Oh, this track is called Hope. That's the track that got copyright striked on YouTube. So, here we have Ushiromiya Jessica, Kraus and Natsuhi's daughter. I guess, yeah, Kraus was probably it was Klaus. In the absence of any irregularities, it is thought that she will eventually inherit the headship of the Ushiromiya family, or technically, her husband will. Wait, die hat einen Ehemann? Oh, again, one thing for YouTube, people who watch this on YouTube, I think I have at least one person on YouTube who is watching this there, and is not a German native speaker, I'm sure. I will sometimes comment on German and sometimes in English, but most of the times I try to speak English. However, she seems to have no interest in all of this. In what? Oh, inheriting the headship of the family. She was born with weak bronchi? Is that how you pronounce that? And is sometimes assailed by sudden asthma attacks. Oh, I know that. Ushiromiya George, Eve and Hideyoshi's son. So that was these people. Eve? Eva. Okay. These guys, Hideyoshi and Eva. An affable young man, liked by everyone in the family, he is currently studying as an assistant for his father's company, and it seems he dreams of making it on his own one day. As the oldest of the four cousins, he acts as their leader and arbitrator. Also, let me know if the game is too loud or my voice is too loud or anything. I'm never sure if it's set to the right volume. So here is his mother, Eva, Kinzo's second child. So Kinzo was the guy who apparently likes to drink himself to death, and I'm expecting this night to go down. It's probably something like he tells everybody how much he hates us, and then he just drinks himself to death in front of us. That's kind of what I expect to happen today. I think that was Kinzo. She's hostile towards her brother Klaus and opposes him whenever she can, from issues dealing with the family fortune to the question of who will succeed the family headship. Normally she would have lost her place in the Ushiromiya family register upon her marriage, but she managed to forcibly overcome this by having her husband take her family name. Oh, okay. Eva's husband. He took his wife's name upon their marriage and became a member of the Ushiromiya family. He therefore does not possess the spiteful genes passed down through Ushiromiya family members. Eva. Okay, I can tell her. I can call her Eva. Does not possess the spiteful genes. Okay, and his bright smile is very refreshing at the family conferences. I can imagine so if everybody else is a spiteful person. He started his business from scratch and now works as the president of a medium-sized restaurant chain. This chain seems to be growing and performing extremely well. Ushiromiya Rudolph, Kinzo's third child. Along with his sister, Eva, he intends to make his voice heard during the family conference to prevent their oldest sibling, Klaus, from keeping all of their father's wealth for himself. His former wife, Asumu, passed away 6 years ago, and he married his current wife, Kiria, shortly after that, which is this lady with the exploding chest. Rudolph's second wife. She has already worked alongside him for some time before the death of his first wife, at which time she openly took the position of his wife. She has served as Rudolph's right hand in several shady pieces of business, guiding them to success. She is quick-thinking and well-trusted by her husband. Now here's Ushiro Miya Battler, the guy with the stupid name, the son of Rudolph and his first wife Asumu. When his father married his second wife shortly after Asumu's death, Battler rebelled and went to live with his grandparents on his mother's side. However, both of these grandparents passed away, and he has now returned to the Ushiro Miya family after 6 years. Oh, okay, I see. That's why he's here now. I remember he mentioned something about that as well last time. This family conference is the chance for him to renew his friendship with his cousins after a 6-year gap. Ushiromiya Rosa, Kinzo's fourth child, wears her husband. She's by far the youngest of the 4 siblings. It seems that this gives her a weaker position at the family conference. How old is she? It doesn't say here, does it? She manages a design company, but she has yet to start taking it seriously, and its financial situation is far from favorable. Then there's Maria, Rosa's daughter. Her father's identity is unknown. I smell a mystery here. She can't shake off the habit of speaking like a young child, which often earns her a scolding. She has no interest in studying or making friends. You mean studying like learning for school? I imagine she's not going to university yet. Camphor, yeah. Comfort, even. But is very interested in things concerning the occult and black magic. What the fuck? Thanks to her excellent powers of memorization, she knows all kinds of obscure trivia and the entire Necronomicon. Servant Goda. A servant hired as a cook. He hasn't served this family long, but through his earlier jobs and previous experience, he has cultivated a talent for entertaining guests. Because of this, he is very highly regarded as a servant. And then there's servant Kumasawa. This elderly woman is a part-timer who, though she has quit her job several times along the way, has served the family for a great many years in total. She is crafty and more than competent when it comes to performing her duties, but because of her chattiness and love for rumors, she's not highly regarded as a servant. Also, wait a second. Okay, maybe you can see a bit more like that. I mean, I didn't even necessarily want the face cam. It was rather when other people told me, hey, keep it there. But then at least I shouldn't sit in the dark here, if it has to be there anyway. Nekomimikon. Now, little one, tell me about the skinwalkers. Okay, anyway, Goda-san called to everyone to ask if we were ready, but our hearts had been completely stolen away by the rose garden that none of us had seen for a year, so we didn't pay much attention to him. Yeah, fuck him. Look at this rose garden, man. Since we weren't a travel group, it wasn't like we had a strict schedule to follow. Besides, since our parents were visiting their old home, full of nostalgia, it wasn't like they had to let themselves be urged on by anyone or anything. Understanding the situation, Goda-san continued to wait, smiling widely. Oh, that's nice. I was wondering if he was, like, becoming impatient. Hearing some strange noises, but I think it's from below. Aiden should definitely be sleeping. Before we streamed, I drove around in the car with him, and because he always falls asleep in the car, so I did that before starting the stream so that he is definitely asleep and can have a quiet night while I'm streaming. Okay, I was smiling widely until our parents got tired of the roses and told him to guide us to our rooms. Oh no, I have to do the voices again. I have to remember. I may differ between every week a little bit, because I kind of always remember how I spoke everybody. But let's see. Guru Guru Maharu Saksen. Oh, hey, if it isn't Kanon-kun. Oh no, another new person. It's been so long, how are you doing? Uncle Hideyoshi suddenly shouted. The fuck is that? That looks like a girl. In the direction he was waving was a... What? That's a... Daga otoko da. That's a boy? Okay. Was a slender boy. Meeting him right after a huge man like Goda probably emphasized his small stature. The boy was in the middle of transporting piled up gardening tools and the like in a wheelbarrow. Is he immediately added here to this? Okay, no, he is not. Oh, okay, let's keep it there. When he realized he was being called to stop, he set down the wheelbarrow, took his hat off and bowed his head. Good afternoon. I figured he was probably younger than me, and I realized by the general atmosphere surrounding him that he was another servant. He greeted us in response to Uncle Hideyoshi's call, but he seemed like he might be pretty unsociable most of the time. It was a greeting that lacked feeling. I'm sure he can balance a teacup on that hand of his when he always has this posture. When Goda-san noticed that our interest had shifted towards him, he went to the boy's side and introduced him to us. Battler-sama, allow me to introduce you. Fucking Battler-sama, that is such a stupid name. This is one of the servants of the Ushiromiya head household. Kanon-san, greet our guest. I'm pleased to meet you. I am the servant, Kanon. Yep, my first impression wasn't wrong. He seemed to be unsociable, or at least not so good at talking. Compared to Goda-san, who was extraordinarily polished as a servant, you couldn't help but feel an inexperience typical of his age. When Goda-san urged him in a whisper to give a bit more of an introduction, the boy named Kanon only cast his eyes downwards. Kanon-san, could you perhaps give them a little more of a greeting? No. Because we are furniture. What are you... How are you furniture? He didn't seem to be refusing to greet us out of spite. Rather, he seemed to have fallen silent because he didn't know what else to say to us in greeting. Well, Kanon-kun is shy and doesn't tend to talk much. He might not be that sociable, but deep down he's a really good person. Don't get him wrong. You've been working here for 3 years, haven't you? Pretty sure you started a year before Goda-san, right? Even though he wasn't exactly giving a terrible first impression, Jessica hurriedly backed him up. I see, apparently his unsociable nature causes him trouble a lot. Okay then, nice to meet you. I'm Battler, the guy here who has the stupidest name of them all. That's my talent. I'm 18, how old are you? He fell silent as though wondering whether or not it was a question he'd have to answer. But here again, Jessica plowed ahead. If I remember correctly, Kanon's 2 years younger than us, so 16, right? Yes, that is correct. It looked like he would have preferred not to tell us his age if given the choice. That was probably because he thought we'd look down on him for it. I remember that when I was around his age, I hated being asked how old I was by adults. I see, 16, huh? That's gotta be a delicate time, which means I probably asked something I shouldn't have. I'm glad you're about our age. Just be cool and call me Battler, and I'll call you Kanon. Thank you very much, but the sentiment alone is sufficient, Battler-sama. Jessica looked panicky for some reason. She seemed to think my impression of Kanon was getting worse because of his refusal. Well, as a girl, Jessica probably couldn't understand the fretful male heart at this age. Oh, and you're an expert on that. As his elder, even by just 2 years, I took it upon myself to be understanding of that. Kanon-san, could you perhaps be a little more courteous? A smiling face is also part of a servant's duty. My apologies. I shall make an effort. Oh, Koda-san, Kanon-kun is trying his best, yes? It looked like he was often warned about being unsociable, and apparently he hadn't improved one bit. Then just leave him the fuck alone. Who cares? If he wants to be quiet, then let him be quiet. Goda-san kept his business smile, but let a small sigh of resignation escape. Well then, I still have work to do. If you'll excuse me. It looked like Kanon himself was uncomfortable with remaining silent here any longer. How is he a servant? After another perfunctory blow... Perfunctory? I think that's how you say that. He turned around and started pushing the wheelbarrow again. Just then, the wheelbarrow suddenly wobbled and fell, scattering the load. I guess the wheelbarrow's single wheel got caught in a pebble and lost its balance. What do you think you're doing? Now, clean it up quickly. Goda-san urged him to hurry in a quiet voice, as though hinting that it was shameful for a servant to appear clumsy in front of guests. Kanon-kun wordlessly reloaded the wheelbarrow with the fallen objects, as if to say that he understood quite well without being told. He seemed to be fine with the light-looking gardening tools, shovels and such, but he looked like he was having trouble getting his arms around and lifting up some sacks of fertilizer. Are you okay? You're so callous. Here. My lady, you will dirty your garments. Please leave this to us. With a smooth motion, Goda-san took the shovel that Jessica had picked up. Behind him, Kanon-kun was having trouble with the sacks of fertilizer. Maybe you should not pick up the shovel, but the fertilizers for him? You'll dirty your garments? Don't worry, the ones I'm wearing aren't that expensive. Besides, I hate guys who just sit there and make the waitress pick up the fork they dropped at a restaurant. I lifted up the other bags that had fallen. Of course, they weren't light, but for me it was a piece of cake. 'Cause I'm a bettler. Kanon-kun looked at me, surprised. It was the face of someone who never would have expected to receive help from a guest. Bettler-sama, don't worry about it. I will take care of everything, so... Don't you worry. I may not look it, but I've got it where it counts. Since Kanon-kun looked like he hadn't yet gone through his growth spurt, he was stuck with a sort of weak body. This kind of weight might have been too much for him. It's quite heavy. It's natural that it would be difficult for you. Don't worry about it, Kanon-kun. Okay, my time to shine. This makes up for the boat stuff from before, right? And now... what if he cannot actually pick it up now because it's too heavy for him as well? Ha! As if this could make up for freaking out like that, you idiot. Later I'll tell you about it too, Kanon-kun. Oh no, Bella was totally hilarious. Gonna fall. Ooh. Yeah, they're probably gonna bring this shit up till the day I die. As they did this, I piled all the stuff back into the wheelbarrow. I beg your forgiveness for letting you witness such unsightliness. Come now, that's quite enough. Please go. Letting the guests who were supposed to feel welcome see such a disgraceful thing must have been hideously embarrassing for a servant. Pressed by Goda to hurry up and go, Kanon-kun left. You're too harsh on him, Goda-san. Shouldn't you have helped him instead of being a bully? That was wrong of me. I deeply implore your forgiveness. Without even a twitch in his smile, Goda-san apologized elegantly. Kanon-kun has a ton of things he's good at too. It's just that being young works against him all the time. It's a crying shame. Well, it's a prickly age. Let's just leave him be. After all, closed-mouthed servants are the best kind. Isn't that right, Kumasawa-san? Sucking and not talking. Oh, Odo-sama, you truly are harsh. There is no servant as silent as me, of course. Everyone smiled wryly at that obvious lie. Even she herself didn't believe that, not in her wildest dreams. So she must have said it to lighten the mood. Now that's the kind of character Kumasawa Ba-chan used to be. What do you mean, used to be? The once stiff atmosphere had cleared up at once thanks to her cheerful smile. I'd like to set down our luggage soon. Goda-san, what rooms are we all going to take? It shall be the same as the previous year. Allow me to guide you. Please, this way. We headed towards a trim, elegantly simple guest house. This was gonna be our temporary quarters for the night. Oh. I see, that makes sense. Kanon watched over a hedge as the guests all entered the guest house. Then he let his eyes fall on those heavy sacks of fertilizer piled up in the wheelbarrow. In his mind, he kept going over his previous mistake. Battler, big and strong, had picked up the sacks in front of him, the sacks Kanon couldn't lift himself, as if they were feathers. It would be extremely difficult for an outside observer to guess what emotions that favor had stirred up in Kanon. But as far as you could tell by watching him hang his head, there was something that he just couldn't let go of. Muttered words escaped his lips, but those words he murmured were so soft that they didn't reach even his own ears. Even I. Even I? What do you mean? Kanon hung his head, slightly biting his lower lip. I remember the Gross Garden, but I don't remember this guest house at all. Was it built recently? Torayan? Visitor's Retreat. Was written on a gatepost-like thing, but since everyone called it the guest house, I followed their lead. Torayan? What are the kanji for that? The brand new Western-style guest house, which stood overlooking the roses, had a magnificent design carefully done in harmony with the garden. Correct. It was built the year before last. Ever since then, they've had us sleep over here. This place is more fun than that junky old mansion you knew. I wish my room was over here. Ooh, I want a room here too. I want one. I guess you could say my own house was upper class, but to me it felt completely ordinary compared to the head family. The display of wealth was shocking, as was the fact that they'd built this kind of awesome guest house for guests who came over only a few times a year. Ifa-sama, Hideyoshi-sama, please do make use of this room. Rudolph-sama, Kirie-sama, please take this room here. I really do love how beautiful and elegant this place is. Western-style architecture truly is wonderful. I can handle Western design for a few days, but any longer than that and you need the good old Japanese look. Japanese people just relax best on tatami mats. Oh, okay. I was actually wondering if To is Wataru, but I couldn't think of the rest. Okay. Huh. They've been fighting over whether to make our new house Japanese style or Western style. Mom still holds a grudge about Dad having the construction started with the Japanese layout, and they bicker all the time about it. I'm really jealous, George, Nissan. Your parents get along well, don't they? Mine are so frosty. Then again, they're always in sync when it comes to my grades. All the rooms seem to be for 2 people. I was grateful since I wasn't going to be forced to share the same room with the old bastard on the pretext that we were family. And anyway, I figure those 2 wouldn't be able to enjoy themselves with someone like me around. Oh. What's with that creepy smile? Oh, nothing. You're thinking about something dirty, aren't you? Something dirty? Of course not. Please enjoy your stay. Whoa! That hurts, you old bastard. Once again, Dad pulled my ears from behind. Cut the crap. I'm getting a stomach ache and I'm not in the mood for this. You're the guest of honor this time around, so play as nice as possible with Dad and Aniki and the rest. At the very least, be careful of what you say in front of Dad, got it? Because wisecracks don't go too well with him, yeah. I can kind of imagine that. Jessica-chan, what's the head's mood been like lately? Drunk, pissed off, and drunk. Same as last year, I guess. So, drunk. Considering they say he's got 3 months left to live, he's as lively, grumpy, and irritable as ever. Meaning this year he's in his usual bad mood. And as usual, the only one who's able to look after him is Genji-san. Genji, was that the doctor? Oh, no, that was the servant, right? Oh, holy shit, that was not the button I wanted to press. Okay, we don't have it here yet. Oh, there's Kanon, a young servant. He performs his duties silently and diligently, but is not so highly regarded as a servant due to his unsociable nature. There are multiple other servants with the On character in their pseudonyms. He and Shannon just happened to be the ones on duty that day. Shannon? Haven't seen Shannon yet. I guess they're on the left of him. He's the only one who's able to look after him is Genji-san. It seems the master will open his heart to no one else. Lately, us small people have not even been granted an audience with him. He's shut himself up in his study again, probably doing nothing but that weird black magic of his. Not sure who's saying that. Maybe Jessica? What he does for a hobby is his own damn business. Yeah, probably Jessica, the way she's talking. But when he starts stinking up the house, it really gets on my nerves. I wish he'd never come out of that study again. Huh. You shouldn't talk like that about the elderly. We're all indebted to him since he rebuilt the Ushiromiya family. We should be more grateful. Well, sorry. After being rebuked by George Aniki, Jessica had no choice but to take back her thoughtless remark. The Ushiromiya family was wealthy beyond belief, but of course that meant all its members were a bit strange and completely out of touch with the world at large. And they all had stupid names. And at the top of the chain, the family head, our grandfather, seemed especially strange and terrifying, even for our family. Dad said he was getting a stomachache earlier, and I imagine that reflected the honest feelings of all the adults here today. No doubt they were jealous of his grandchildren, who could just play around and love without a care. So I guess the children don't have to join the conference? I mean, don't answer that, we'll see. Just throwing my thoughts out there. From the stories Dad told me, the family head was a violent man who ruled with his fists, oh good lord, beating his children, even his daughters, mercilessly with a wooden sword. Holy shit. If he was so strict and uptight about that, why couldn't he have been a little more conservative with his kids' names? Yeah, seriously. Because of that, even his grandkids have had to suffer. Anyway, I can't say I have any trouble believing those terrifying stories about him. So he hasn't met him? True, now that you say that. Who ruled with his fists, and then it says beating them with a sword. Well, maybe he uses one and then the other. He uses the sword until it breaks, and then he uses his fists. Well, that sounded rather violent. I don't remember meeting him very often. Oh, okay, there we go. But I think I recall him looking extremely grumpy and drunk all the time, always making people cower with that sharp gaze of his. I remember that the room's atmosphere got so tense whenever he was around, you couldn't even breathe. What my dad said about me being the guest of honor now carries a little more oomph for me. 6 years ago I was in elementary school, but I'm a high schooler now. If I act up, things could get serious. Scary. He does look frightening, but he's not so terrifying that you need to tense up like that. Nothing of what he says is truly unreasonable. He may be clumsy at talking, but he's a very logical person. But George Nissan, you've been the family darling since like forever because of your awesome grades, right? Grandfather treats us completely different. I've even gotten slapped with a wooden sword. What do you mean you even got slapped? It just said that he slapped everybody with that. Or at least all his children. So, okay, I guess even makes sense. She's not his child, but his grandchild. On my ass. Excuse me, what? Yeah, that's not even... On my maidenly innocent ass. If anybody just entered the room right now while I was reading that aloud, without any context, I wonder what face they would have made. Well, you're the heiress of the head family, Jessica-chan. Grandfather's giving you special attention, especially your ass or what. You've got to realize that his strictness reflects his high hopes for you. It's not what it looks like. Just because I talked on stream about my maiden ass... Wait, that sounds so wrong. Oh, come on. Seriously, I could just turn the succession over to you, George Nissan. It's a bit of a heavy burden for me to carry. I think I already said it before, but Jessica is the girl heir to the head family. We're only cousins in branch families, so she probably feels a totally different sort of pressure than we do. Jessica Oni-chan is that heavy? If I help hold it, will it get lighter? Huh? Thanks. It's okay, I'm not gonna push it on you, Maria. I'm gonna bear this cross until my grave. Don't worry. She was grateful for Maria's innocent concern, but Jessica's face still seemed to contain some of the uneasiness she felt towards the future. Maybe we were in the same boat. Any high schooler with exams approaching would have trouble hiding their anxiety for the future. Maria, come here. You and I will be in this room. Butler-kun, I heard you're gonna be with me in this room here. Oh, cool, so we can play video games all night. Yeah! Oh? Wait, there's no TV. Now there's a surprise. It's bigger than our parents' room, dang. Well, I figured we cousins would all want to hang out together. Oh, so she's sleeping there as well. So I told them to get a bigger room ready. I like it here more too. I'd rather be here than with Mama. Oh, you like it better here too, Maria? Okay, this room is George's and mine, but we'll give you special permission to come in. Better keep it a secret from your mom, okay? It's a secret. Just sneak out in the night when your mom is sleeping and watch us play Mortal Kombat. Aunt Rosa was right behind us, but Maria still answered, striking the air with her fists clenched tight. Game night! Yeah! Hell yeah, I would love a... I wouldn't mind a game night with George, he seems cool. After setting down their luggage in their rooms, our parents had gathered again in the corridor. Hey, what are you brats planning to do? Are you cousins just gonna stay here and chat? It seemed they were heading to the mansion to announce their arrival. Oh, it's 1987. Oh, yeah, right. I forgot that, but it said what date it was at the beginning when you started the game. Yeah, there's not gonna be any Mortal Kombat in 1987. When did they... Or is there? No, I don't think so. When did I play Mortal Kombat for the first time? That was on the Amiga. So probably a bit later. Normally they would make us follow them and greet everyone together, but if that had been the case, Dad would have just told us to come and that'd be the end of it. He's saying it's okay if we don't come, so what'll we do? Well, it's gonna be lunchtime before long anyway. Better let the kids unwind here. Besides, if worse comes to worse, this might be their last chance to play outdoors. Huh? I go too. Maria, you house sit for Mama, okay? Lusuban wahrscheinlich. Behave yourself and wait here. Since Maria was being told to house sit here, we certainly couldn't leave her on her own. So no Mortal Kombat, anyway. George Aniki noticed this immediately and gave a clear reply for all of us cousins. Well then, we'll accept your offer and house sit. We've got lots of stories to tell each other after being away for a year. That sounds wonderful. And Battle-kun has 6 years worth of stories to tell, doesn't he? Yeah, I'll take care of the house like a good boy. Kumasawa-san, I'm gonna stay here too. We'll break rank and leave the rest to the adults. Perhaps that would be best. I'll report it to Madam. Then allow me to guide you all to the mansion. This way, please. The other children are one thing, but George is getting to be an adult. Wouldn't it be better if he came with us? If we make him come, then poor George will be the only one out of place. Interacting with his cousins is also important. Okay, see you later. Whew. I almost thought they were gonna take him away. I just remembered playing Mortal Kombat on the Amiga. At some point, you had to switch discs between every enemy. And that took forever. The adults left one after the other. They left in the same formation as our trip from the harbor, with Gora-san leading and Kumasawa-san taking up the rear. As we gathered in the room assigned to us cousins, George Aniki asked us to excuse him for a second. He rushed over to Kumasawa-san, who was following behind the disappearing adults, and seemed to ask her something. He soon finished his business and came back. What's up, Aniki? Oh, nothing. I just wanted to ask her something. Oh, don't have secrets. Tell me too. What could George Nisan be asking Kumasawa-san and not me, I wonder? I don't have a clue. No, it's a misunderstanding. Not that I know what you're misunderstanding. Aniki was getting pretty tongue-tied. It was almost as though he felt guilty about something, and Jessica knew exactly what he was worried about. At any rate, it's no fun if Jessica gets to know about it and not me. Hey Maria, it looks like we're the only two out of the loop, right? Don't you want to know what they're talking about? We want to know too. I fooled around while oohing together with Maria. No, I'm telling you, it's no big deal, huh? Liar, I'm surprised you tell such a terrible lie, Aniki. Confess. Maria, you tickle his right side, I'll tickle his left. I've got his right side, Battle's got his left. Wait a second. What did you do? Stop. Man. Maria and I played around, chasing George Aniki as he tried to escape, rolling on the bed. I realize high schoolers aren't supposed to bounce around like kittens, but I still missed this kind of fun. A warm, cozy kind of fun. Yeah, who knows how much longer that's gonna last. George Nisan, what were you asking Kumasawa-san? Well, I've got a good guess. It's been a year since the last time he visited the Hat family. Who knows what servants might have come and gone during that time. Either way, it looks like he'd like to go and say hi. Say hi? I want to I wanted to say hi too. What the hell? There's nothing to feel guilty about, Aniki. I'm not buying it. Maybe he has a girlfriend here? Maria, don't be fooled. Aniki is still hiding something. More torture. Stop it, seriously. Maria-chan, you do stop already. Apparently she's not stopping. May have to drink a lot today, because my throat is very dry. She's probably busy cleaning or getting lunch ready. Don't worry, she'll drop by to say hi sooner or later. I'll bet you'd rather have been welcomed in by Shannon instead of that nosy Goda. Maybe Shannon is a female... I was about to say guard. Female servant. And he has the hots for her. Shannon? Is... how would you pronounce her? Shannon? Shannon? I'm just gonna say Shannon. Yeah, I remember a girl with that name. Is she still a servant? How is she doing?